Hello, thank you for downloading Bluecar, and thank you for watching this video. This short commitment of your time will give you invaluable information that you need to be as successful as possible using this technology. This video is broken up into 5 parts: the introduction, the opportunity, the system, the plan, and the beta app. And all of the start times for each section are in the description below. If you catch the vision behind each part, then you and me and other entrepreneurs of this industry will begin moving together with purpose to reclaim the luxury market and become a top contender in this post-Uber on-demand world. First of all, yes, Bluecar is an on-demand ride application. You do have to log in, go online, and leave the app running on your phone if you want to be eligible for on-demand bookings. However, Bluecar is not a rideshare company. It's actually a business network. My company and your company are going to work together to increase our accessibility, our availability, and our convenience factor for customers who prefer luxury services but need a ride on short notice. Each of us will continue using our own company's names so that customers know exactly who they're doing business with, and we're going to use the same platform where we can back each other up. That way, when I'm not available for my customer has someone of my caliber who can serve them. And when you're not available for your customer doesn't have to resort to a low-quality rideshare service because they have someone of your caliber online and ready to back them up at the touch of a button. Starting today, members of the Bluecar network are no longer going to lose business to drivers we surpass in all areas of customer service, road knowledge, professionalism, etc., just because those drivers have something that we don't: instant accessibility. Adding instant accessibility to our list of key selling points means an explosion of new business for the black car industry. Now, as I said, Bluecar is not a rideshare company, it's a business network. And as a business network, it's also a non-random system, possibly the only one that exists right now. That means customers can come here looking for you, and if you're available, they can send a direct on-demand request straight to you, even bypassing other drivers who might be closer. And that means you can now treat the on-demand side of your business the same as the scheduled side. Earn customers, build relationships, and be in control of your success. Through Bluecar, you're entering a $20 billion per year marketplace that has an expected growth rate of nearly 15% per year. That's already 7 times more revenue than the scheduled market that we all work in, and 17 times more miles driven. Not only are there an insane number of people who never schedule transportation and who you'll never win with a 10-digit phone number, but there are also many, many circumstances in which people just don't know their schedule and have no choice but to use an on-demand service. Even your own customers have to use on-demand travel, probably more often than you'd think. An estimated 1 out of 5 on-demand customers say they would pay a black car price for a quality driver they trust, just to avoid the dangers of the random drivers they get through ride sharing. And that's the core opportunity for which Bluecar was created. Now, 1 out of 5 would pay the black car price, which obviously means that 4 out of 5 wouldn't. So for those skeptics out there, yes, it's true. Most people just want the cheapest ride. But there are enough people in our target audience doing on-demand business for your company, my company, and every black car company across the country to triple their business and their revenue inside of just a couple of years. The black car industry will explode if we meet our customers where they want to do business and how they want to do business. So how do we win them? Rideshare companies like to raise billions of dollars in funding and then spend it on huge marketing campaigns. They do that not because it's the most effective way, but because it's the most profitable way. But for someone who doesn't care about making a lot of money and is willing to share it, there's a much more effective way to win customers faster. And that way is through you. You're a professional driver. Your ability to make people like you, your ability to click with them on a personal level and make them want to come back to you, that's the foundation of your business. It's how you grew. It's how you stayed in business these last years. And that's why when you use that skill to win customers to this network, you actually retain a stake in that customer. An extra 10% of every trip they take on this platform comes back to you. That's 10% in addition to the normal fare. The driver app has a text field right on the home screen. You can put an email or a phone number into the text field and send a single invitation to a customer to download the app, or you can just leave it blank and tap here to access your contacts. When someone downloads the app from your invitation, our system links that customer to your account and gives you a 10% ownership stake in all of that customer's travels forever. That download link is how Bluecar keeps track of which customers you brought into the network. So if you want to take this to the next level, you can tell people you share this with to also pass that on to their friends as well, and you'll get 10% of their travels also. Even if those customers live in other parts of the country and never have a chance to use your services directly, our system still says that you're the one responsible for creating all those opportunities for those other drivers in other cities and states, and you still get a kickback on every trip those customers take forever. That's 10% of every trip you missed because you were busy with another customer, because you were sleeping, or because a customer was traveling outside of your service area and you never even had the opportunity. All of it comes back to you as additional revenue. You get to own the industry you work in and have a permanent share in its revenue. So where do you start? Right now, the Bluecar Passenger app is in the app stores and ready for customers to download. So here's the plan. Before the end of November 2018, I'm going to kick this off by sending more than 150 invites to customers in my contacts list. I'm not sending it to all my customers. I'm specifically avoiding the loyal customers who don't use on-demand travel. They don't need to know about this. But the rest of them, I've divided them into 3 main categories: inactive customers, split loyalty customers, and partial customers. Inactive customers are those who used me in the past, but haven't used me in 2, 3, 4 years or more. Frankly, I probably lost them to an on-demand service. Either way, I have nothing to lose by sending them all an invite and letting them know they can choose their driver on demand. If I win them back through Bluecar, that's awesome. But if not, I may still get a 10% credit for enabling other drivers to earn their business on demand. Maybe they move, maybe I'll never see them again. I don't know, but I have nothing to lose by trying, so all of them are getting an invite. A split loyalty customer is a customer who calls me every time they need a trip that needs to be planned in advance. For all intents and purposes, these are my loyal customers, but when I dig a little deeper, I find that they also use on-demand rideshare or taxi services pretty frequently when they have something a little bit less serious, maybe a late night trip, a short notice trip, or anything that's unplanned or unscheduled. They're loyal to me for my reliability, but they're loyal to the app for the instant availability and the convenience. So I'll never have all their business. A partial customer is someone I met through an on-demand black car service because I used to drive for one. The customer took my business card, but then continued using the on-demand app for most of their travels. Maybe they call me once or twice a year for a big trip to the airport, a concert, sporting event, but most of the time they just use the on-demand service. Partial customers are the hottest prospects for Bluecar. I already know that they prefer on-demand service, and I already know that they like my service and will use it whenever it makes sense. I just have to get them to Bluecar where it makes sense to use my service in more situations, and I'm almost certain to be first in line every time they need a ride and I'm available. Now that's all I can do personally, but if you work with an on-demand black car company, you actually have a 4th opportunity. Rideshare customers. Rideshare customers are one-time customers that you share with every other driver in your area who is on that platform. You may be the best driver on the platform, but you can't leverage those talents to your advantage. You may hand out a business card and they may become a partial customer if you're lucky, but you're still going to miss more than 90% of their business to the on-demand sector because they prefer on-demand travel. So as you're handing out a business card, also send them an invite through the Bluecar application. If they live locally, you'll probably get a lot more of their business, and if not, you'll still retain a 10% ownership of every trip they book through this network. Now, part 2 of this plan is for you to do what I'm doing. Divide your customers into 3 categories and use this platform to capture more of the business that you're missing from those people who already know you and already like your services. Otherwise, you'll just be driving my overflow, and that's not a lot of people. Then, part 3 of the plan is to get other drivers on board and to have them do the same. We in Fort Worth need drivers in Dallas to drive our customers when our customers need on-demand service in Dallas. Having drivers in Dallas means more of those 10% kickbacks coming back to Fort Worth to us. Likewise, when we in Dallas-Fort Worth need drivers in Houston and other parts of Texas. Many of my customers travel to Houston and use on-demand apps, and I for one would love to get 10% of that as well, and I'm sure you did too. Now, having drivers in Houston means having customers from Houston who come up here to DFW, and when they do, those customers will be able to find you and even reconnect with you every time they come here on business or for leisure, so that you can build a customer base of semi-loyal, out-of-town customers in the on-demand market. Finally, we in Texas need drivers in all other cities and states across the country, not just so that we can earn 10% of every on-demand trip our customers take nationwide, which is, by the way, how you double your income on this platform, but also so that we can receive inbound customers from our peers nationwide as well. It's great to drive our own customers, but the fact is, customers move around. They travel, and right now, their travels are being controlled by third-party rideshare and ride broker companies who decide for us who gets their business. Being tightly networked like this means getting more business, not through rideshare service, but through the customer's direct choice. And that's where we regain control of our industry, our careers, and our lives. What you've just downloaded is called an MVP, a minimally viable product. It's a starting point. You can do a lot with it to win customers and increase your revenue, but there are features we still need to add, as well as important features that we should have added already, but doing so would have significantly delayed the release. This final section of the video goes over some of those features that need to be there, but aren't, and how to work around them so to get the most out of this beta app right away. This is the sound you hear when you get a request for on-demand service. Unfortunately, the app doesn't make that sound if it's running in the background, if it's minimized, or if your phone falls asleep. Now, that wouldn't be a problem, except that the app doesn't prevent your phone from falling asleep. So you can probably see the issue here. To work around that until we add both of those capabilities, go into your phone's settings, click on Display, then Screen Timeout. Set your screen timeout to the maximum possible, or if you can, just turn it off completely, and then you'll be able to leave the app running with the app in the foreground and hear those requests. Number 2, payment. In the app, under the menu, you'll notice there's a place to add deposit information. We had intended to deposit your earnings directly through a debit card on file, and because of that, we made having a debit card on file a requirement before you can even go online. Unfortunately, that's not exactly working. The debit card is still required to be there, or else you'll see this message when you try to go online, but it doesn't actually show up in our system so that we can pay you. To work around this, we're going to send out checks. So you'll need to provide us with your mailing address where you can receive payment so that we can mail a check to you each week. This is temporary. We'll have the direct deposit set up in the next version, so if you want to wait for that next version, I completely understand. But if you want to use this technology to start building your on-demand customer base right away, I promise you'll be paid for every trip you do. It'll just be by check for the time being. Number 3, Google Maps. When you're in a trip, going to pick up a customer or going to your final destination, clicking on this icon opens Google Maps. It was supposed to open the default navigation app on your phone, but instead it opens Google Maps. So to use the navigation feature in Bluecar for the time being, you'll need to have Google Maps on your phone. Most Androids have that automatically, but if you have an iPhone, you may want to just double check and make sure that you have Google Maps, at least until the next release when we address this. Number 4. The app seems to be having an issue with switching back and forth between Wi-Fi and data while you're in a trip. So if you're trying to start or end a trip and you see this circling, and it just keeps circling, try turning off your Wi-Fi and then try again. Finally, there are 2 Android devices that don't run Bluecar. I don't know if these are very popular brands in the US. They may not even be available in the US. But in case I'm wrong about that and you happen to have one of those phones, you won't be able to use Bluecar just yet. Now, you can still create a driver account and you can still invite people and get those 10% kickbacks, but you won't be able to use the app as a driver without a different phone brand until we do the next release. Remember, this is a beta release. It's the very beginning. You're among the privileged few who get to have a corner on this market and be selected directly by customers who want to choose their driver. No one else in the $20 billion per year on-demand marketplace can earn a customer's business by the customer's choice right now. And as professional drivers who provide top-tier service, that gives you a huge advantage over other drivers. Even though the technology has a few shortcomings named in this video, it actually does what it's supposed to do really well. It helps people see your availability and response time in an on-demand setting and connect with you directly by their choice. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video, taking the time to watch this. If you have any questions, comments, or just want to learn more about the goals and vision behind this technology, email me at jeff@mybluecar.com and let's start that conversation. In the end, this is not about Bluecar. Bluecar is just a tool. This is about you and your company, me and my company, and each of us taking care of our families and winning more customers than ever before to have more security and more stability than ever before. See you on the roads.